What makes a video game good? That is the question that has caused the most confusion in my mind for years when it comes to talking to other people about my favorite video game. Growing up, I played a lot of Dragon Quest IX, which, if you're new to the series like I was, is one of the best games you could play because it's extremely customizable and there's a great late game. But there's no character life. You're in a group of silent people and you're just running around solving everyone's problems. No one in your party speaks back to you when you. But that's what I loved about it. As a kid, as a third grader, I can envision that they were speaking and just being who I wanted them to be without having to go through the effort. Full party of four, literally going to heaven and back, but no one talks to you. The adventure sounds fun. Going to heaven and back, everything that happens in the game is fun. There's just no life behind it. But the question is, how do people get that thought process? Do I think Dragon Quest IX is the greatest Dragon Quest? No, I have to give that to 8. I've played both. I think 8 is just has more passion behind it in my opinion. But that's not the question that I want to ask you guys. I want to know what makes video games fun. Now, obviously, you can just click off the video, say that this random obsolete game is good or that Fortnite's the best game ever made, or you can listen to what I think is the crisis that haunts the video game industry to this day. Video games are full of personality. Well, they're supposed to be. And that's a point I really want to emphasize here. The older games had personalities, but the newer ones have other personalities. They can be under the same name. They can be under the Assassin's Creed name per se, but they're going to have different personalities. I had my wife play Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Wait, hold on. There's people outside. Hold on. Anyway, I had my wife play what I consider to be a really good video game, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And she liked it. She liked the game. She had fun playing it. She wanted to be done because the naval battles were very weird and not as bad as I remember them personally. But then she played the one that she wanted to play, the one she picked out, the one she asked if I had so she could try it out. And that was Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And she genuinely had so much fun playing it. She's still playing it over 100 hours in. She's beat the main quest. She's doing, I think, Asgard stuff right now, and she's having an absolute blast. So I went online because I wanted to see what other people thought of the game. And buggy, glitchy, one of the worst in the series. One of the worst in the series. And that got me thinking. But this is a masterpiece. This is actually like really fun, and I enjoyed watching her play. And I don't like watching people play video games when I'm next to them. But I had so much fun sitting down with her and watching her play. And that started leaving questions in my mind. Like, how do people think this is so bad? How do people think, how do we get such different opinions from the same thing? I could go out here and say, oh, screw you Activision, screw you Ubisoft, all of them. But they also delivered us the bangers. I'm not saying we should get nostalgia baited and every time they remake a game we should hop on it instantly, but let's take a step back. Some of it's on us too. If we're going to hate every game that comes out just because it's not exactly what we're envisioning that it should be, that's not fair to the people who made it. And I think Assassin's Creed Shadows takes the cake now for being one of the worst. I don't know. I haven't played Shadows, so I can't give an honest review on that or anything like that. That's just what I've been seeing. And that's presented to me a reoccurring theme. Every new game that comes out, everyone calls terrible. Every game. Or at least 99% of game. When Silksong dropped, people were as one of the few very overly hyped games. I wouldn't even call it overhyped. One of the very rare games that delivered on the hype that it had. I'm not saying every game's gonna be like Silksong or that we need to absolutely praise every game hoping for it to be good, but you have to give it a fair shot. When we were kids and we were playing the older video games, we didn't have a care in the world about anything around it because all we had was the game. I believe that if we didn't look at game reviews and everyone didn't insert their own opinions about little nitpicks or how they feel about the graphics or the skybox of a game or something that I would just deem artificial. Because at the end of the day, does it really matter if the sky is slightly darker than what you think it should be? If the grass doesn't shake the way you think it should? Or was it Asmongold or a YouTuber who complained and said Red Dead Redemption 2 was better than Ghost of Yotei because when you walk in the water or walk on ice, you like do a little slippy slidey animation. That is what what we're taking out of video games nowadays. We're taking something that's so obsolete and the difference in budget and time and commitment and everything was so drastically different, you're gonna get mad at Ghost of Yote. A samurai or a ninja or a shinobi doesn't slip when she walks on ice as much as a cowboy does. At that point, I have to question what you're even playing video games for. Are you just playing it to get clickbait views, or what enjoyment do you get from that, I guess would be the question I'm trying to ask. But let's go to the game of the year contenders. Ghost of Yote, Silk Song, and Expedition 33. Expedition 33, I've heard the most disheartedness towards because it's a turn-based game. Ooh, oh my god, it's not something where it's not an FPS. Oh no. It sucks. It has to suck. I have a clip here I'm going to show you guys of a popular Twitch streamer named Shroud and what he thinks of Expedition 33.
Dude, we got to make sure that this game wins Game of the Year, by the way. Do not let that Expedition game win Game of the Year. Do not let it. Absolutely do not. We all have to band together to make this game win. Us multiplayer gamers are the minority, okay? We are the minority being multiplayer gamers, but I believe we can win. I believe. You just need to tell everybody.
That Expedition game,
And just a horrible tone of voice.
us multiplayer gamers,
It sounds so corny and honestly disrespectful. He goes on to say that he's never voted on a game before, but I think he is this year to make sure Expedition 33 doesn't win. He also says and admits to never even playing the game. So right there, off rip, he's dissing a game he's never played before simply because it's not a multiplayer game. So what about God of War? Are we just not gonna have God of War being considered a masterpiece of a game because it's
not a multiplayer game?
That's such a stupid argument. Oh my god, when I heard this, I instantly knew that, ew. And this is coming from someone who has a failed game of his own, by the way. I can't say too much because obviously I haven't made a video game. I make subpar YouTube videos at best. But you can't fail at making a first person shooter and then be like, oh, this game's horrible when it's still up and active. It feels hypocritical, if you will. Now, this is just an example I wanted to bring up because it shows how delusional gamers have gotten in my observation. Now, I've been around the gaming community. I've played a ton of different kinds of games. I've watched a ton of different people play games as well. The Rad Brad is the absolute GOAT of playthroughs, in my opinion. And if you know, you know. He doesn't say it specifically that turn-based games are so bad, so I'm not going to knock on it too much. But what about Baldur's Gate 3? It is multiplayer. So if he's talking about that, then props to him. He got the 2023 Game of the Year on his side. And Elden Ring is technically multiplayer if you really wanted it to be. But are we not going to talk about Astrobots that won last year? No, we're not. I'm going to actually forget I said that. We're just going to keep moving on to what I got in my notes here. I'm going to give you a list of video games that he says are not good and do not deserve to win over Arc Raiders. The Persona series, the Final Fantasy series, no Skyrim. Are you kidding me? Or no Oblivion Remastered. Oh my god, I'm trying to think. No Assassin's Creed game ever. Well, I do have multiplayer modes, so maybe possibly perchance that's what he's talking about. You're telling me all of these games don't deserve any sort of goodness in their lives whatsoever just because they're not that involve fighting other people. You're fighting the same things in basically every game. You're fighting a computer generated object. The only difference is if it's actively being used upon as another person, if another person's playing the game against you, or if it's a program. But even in Arc Raiders, it's half other people, half AI enemies. So it's half a single player game, half a multiplayer game in upon itself. Don't get me wrong, this isn't like a video to rant about how much I hate FPS games or how streamers are ruining the community. You might be onto something with that latter half, but I play first-person shooter games too. I love some of the newer Call of Duty games. I'm a fan of Black Ops 7, I'm going to say it. I love Battlefield 6. I like Black Ops Cold War. I play Fallout 4. I loved Fallout New Vegas. But if we're talking about multiplayer shooter games, why are you acting like we don't have the same end goal in mind? We all just want to have fun playing a game we enjoy playing. That's what video games are for. They are for having fun. And you got people like Shroud, you got Oh my god, XQC, you got Asmongold, you have all these YouTubers bad mouthing games that don't exactly fit the narrative that they've created in their mind because they have a platform that lets them think that, ooh, these people listen to what I say. I'm gonna say the stupidest things imaginable. The larger the fan base, the smaller the brain. Can we not agree on that? Video games are meant to be fun. The Game Awards are not rigged because a game made by a multi-million-dollar company isn't the most favorable thing right now. The story behind Expedition 33 alone should make you love the game. For people who don't know, a very low down, very shortened version of how Expedition 33 came to be made was this guy had a vision for a game, so he reached out to a bunch of people on Reddit and they made the entire game just a bunch of Redditors. Out of all people to make a game, Redditors make a banger game. And you have people out here saying that it's because it's not made by a multi-billion-dollar company. That's the only reason I could think of why you'd be hating on like Silk Song. Or even, I don't understand it. I don't understand why you think just because it's not made by your favorite big studio that's been using you as a cash cow for the last 10, 20 years doesn't mean the game's not fun. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure Arc Raiders is fun too. I haven't played Arc Raiders, so I'm not going to give you a perfect review of it, but I'm sure if you're playing Arc Raiders with your friends and you're getting kills and you're getting good loot and you're having the fun, you're enjoying the gameplay loop, you're going to enjoy the gameplay loop. That's the entire point of playing games. But some nights your friends aren't on, or some nights you're tired of losing all your kits after working so hard to get the one you wanted. So what do? You sit down and play a different game. You play a single player game, even. You sit down, you play Expedition 33. You sit down, you play The Sims. You sit down and you play Hello Kitty Island Adventure. You sit down and play Club Penguin? Club Penguin. Jesus. And that's the beauty of video games. You're supposed to be immersed in the world. You're supposed to be able to sit down and just forget about the absolute dumpster fire that is the US right now. At least for me, I live in the US, so it's a dumpster fire out here. This video isn't specifically about the Game Awards or about how streamers, very small brains, are promo Magnuses or anything like that. I don't have any beef with anyone. I don't care that much. I just wanted to show how we need to be better as a gaming community. We need to stop being so negative on games that don't exactly fit a narrative we created in our minds. Because there are billions of people out in the world right now, and there's millions of gamers. Not every game is going to be made for you. Not every game is going to be the next COD killer or the next Destiny 2 killer. If a game needs to be killed, does it really need to be killed? Or if people still enjoy playing the game, it doesn't need to just die outright. It's not fair to the people who spent all this time making games. Now, some of the newer Call of Duties, I'll give you that take. I've played them. I still enjoyed playing them with my friends. I still enjoy looking back at said games and be like, ugh, that was a terrible experience. That's part of what makes me appreciate playing other games. So the key takeaway here is I want to give you guys something. I want you guys to think about it at least a little bit before you start dissing on someone for the game they're playing. If you go to your friend's house and you see him whip out his DS and start playing Pokemon, let's say Pokemon Red, or wait, what game was came out? We'll say Pokemon Heart Gold. And as soon as you see him playing Pokemon Heart Gold, you would go over there, you'd be like, what a nerd, you're not playing the newest Pokemon game, or you're not playing Pokemon Black 2. Who cares? Why does it hurt you so much? Why do you care so much to the point where you have to go out of your way to try to ruin someone else's gaming experience for not even personal gain? What are you getting out of telling someone that the game they're playing is not a good game? Let them be the judge of that. Let them have their fun. Let us have fun playing the not AAA studio games. Thank you for listening to me app, and feel free to share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you feel like something I've said will sit in your conscience the next time you think about talking to someone else about gaming.